The topic for today is building your mental toughness. Building your mental toughness. And the reason I chose this particularly to talk about today is it's a journey. It's absolutely a journey for everybody to, to build the mental toughness, to have the toughest mindset. It's very important because the mindset is very important for every individual to be successful. Now, let's get started. Now, Muhammad Ali said, champions are not made in gyms. Champions are made from something they have deep inside them, a desire, a dream, a vision. They have to have a skill and the will, but the will must be stronger than the skill. So the will has to be stronger than the skill. Now, how to teach your mind to be positive? Simple, by just telling your brain what you want. You tell your brain what you want. Simple as that. Now, I'm going to tell you a story that I have heard recently. A story is between a dialogue between a grandfather and a son and a grandson. There is an old Indian wizened man in an age is educating his grandson concerning life in general. A grandfather told his grandson, a fight is happening inside me. And it's an awful fight between two wolves. One is evil. He represents anger, envy, sadness, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, hatred, selfishness, bitterness, inferiority, lies, incorrect satisfaction, jealousy, and ego. That's one wolf. Now he continues, said, on the other hand, there is an other wolf who is good. He is pleasure, peace, love, hope, peacefulness, humbleness, kindness, generosity, empathy, truth, and confidence. The same struggle is going on inside you, inside every other person too. So inside every human being. The grandson thought about what his grandfather said. Literally, he thought about it and he asked his grandfather, Grandpa, which wolf or which one will win? The old Indian man, he merely replies, the one you feed. What a wonderful message for us, the key one being that whatever we tell our brain will manifest in front of us. Whatever we tell our brain, it will manifest. It will come true. Now the question is, what do you feed your brain? Because you have two wolves inside you and two gigantic ones. It's not even something small. What do you feed your brain? What do you feed these tools? Do you feed them with the positivity or do you feed them with the negativity? Are you speaking positive to empower yourself or you speaking negative? We have two wolves, big wolves, fighting inside us. And it's up to us to make one wolf win. But the question, which one? Which wolf that you are choosing or you will choose to win? The positive or the negative? That is relying on basically what you feed in yourself in a daily basis. What do you tell yourself in a daily basis? Most of the psychological issues we face can be attributed to a single conflict. We have two prominent and large opposite parts to our brains. An old reptilian, I can't say this was my apology, part was programmed to help us survive and reproduce in a harsh and varied climate thousands and thousands of years ago. Now, the part of our brain is incredibly efficient and it's rapid to respond to stresses in our environment. That is where it primarily takes its cues from. It's emotional and it enables us to stay in motions without thinking. The modern brain is less efficient, but more calculated. It takes its time and deliberates in evaluating our surrounding circumstances before it decided to act. It takes its cue from the rational mind before it responds. By default, our brain is in charge. It lets us to operate on autopilot, and it requires less effort than deliberate thinking and planning. However, to exercise control over your mind, to get it to do what you need to do, you often need to put a modern brain at the helm. That is what will guide you to take on a short-term disappointment, which is pain, to meet your long-term goals. That is how great determination, willpower, and motivation are harnessed. But if it's your brain is in charge, what can we do to inspire the modern brain? Because there is two brains. Okay, you got two types of brains. What can we do to inspire the modern brain to take control consistently? The answer is practice, practice, and practice. So you continue practicing. The primary driver of reptilian brain is your environment. It sees the cues in your surroundings, and it then follows a comfortable pattern. The modern brain, on the other hand, has to be driven proactively. It has to be called upon. Its positivity can be influenced by your surroundings. That's why it's very important to stay in a positive environment. But only if something out of the ordinary occurs. Otherwise, it takes the back seat and unwilling to act. Many of us have easy distraction. You can get easily distracted in our environment. Guide your brain or your mind into a reactive behavior to stop us from doing what we always need to do. A temporary solution would be to remove those distractions. But ladies and gentlemen, distractions always come and occur. Distraction is there in our environment, but it's up to you whether you want to engage with the distraction, whether you want to react to it, or whether you want to respond, or whether you want to remove yourself. Over the long term, however, you want more than that. You want to resist things not because they are, but because you have the mental control to do so. The following questions, I'm going to ask you questions, okay? You have to ask yourself, am I reactive or am I proactive? It's a very great question. Next time you start to procrastinate, ask yourself, am I reacting? Am I reactive or am I proactive? Next time you begin to feel unhappy, ask yourself this question. Next time you think prematurely quitting on something, ask yourself this question. Am I mindlessly reactive or am I proactive? Now, almost every time you will feel your initial response is reactive. Something in your environment nudges you into these feelings. So you're not in control of it. Something happened that makes you react, not respond. When you make a repetition of asking yourself the question, am I reactive or am I proactive? You stop and pause right before you dive into the spiral of despair. It will not always inspire you to change your behavior suddenly. But when you acknowledge that you are reactive, you can choose to either stick with it or not. Most of the time, you will take control to either stick, sorry, my apology, to take control and think purposely and nudge yourself toward the desired behavior. Sometimes you will stay where you are. Either way, you activate a part of a modern brain to make deliberate choice. You practice a sense of control over your mind. Even just the feeling of power is one of the biggest motivator to be better. If you make this a habit over time, you will also see a quite substantial results. Which one or which will it be? When you are reactive, your environment decides for you because you react to what happens that you're not control of. But when you're proactive, you get to decide because you are in control. A reactive person lets the world shape the outcome of their life. A proactive person takes the world as it is and shape it into the world they want. If you can successfully train your brain to deliberately question the state of mind and use that question to give you more control. Every time something happens, you've got to stop and pause. Am I proactive or am I reactive? You can do almost anything you can, quite literally, by reprogram yourself, your mind. This is not a quick road, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a quick road. And it's not happen overnight. It takes time. With one small step at a time, you can slowly align yourself or your mindset with your potential. The choice is yours. Are you feeding the negative wolves or the positive wolves? Get feeding the excellent wolf that within you. Don't let the negative wolf take over, because when the negative wolf take over, you start seeing everything is negative. Everything around you, you start blaming others. You lose the control. Start taking control of yourself and your brain. Your mind is a powerful thing, ladies and gentlemen. When you fill it with positive thoughts, your life will start to change. You have the power. You have power over your mind. Not outside events. Nobody can take control of your mind. It's you. It's within you. You are in control. Realize this. You've got to realize this. And you will find the strength. You'll find the strength to do whatever that you want. Ladies and gentlemen, taking charge. Start feeding yourself positivity. Start feeding yourself positive words. Be around people who's positive and see how your life will change. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for jumping on. I hope you had the value. Until I see you next time, bye-bye.